Let's try that again. Hopefully the update to OBS will do that. That's not the first time it's happened over the past few days. Sometimes. Okay. Let me pull my right back up. There we are.
David Morens, a former advisor to Anthony Fauci, has pleaded guilty to a federal conspiracy charge tied to COVID records. The guilty plea centers on allegations that Morens deliberately tried to evade public records laws during the pandemic. Morens entered his plea Tuesday in federal court in Greenbelt, Maryland, accepting responsibility for the conduct described by prosecutors. Federal prosecutors say Morens used his personal email to discuss government business he believed could later become public. Those communications allegedly involved COVID research grants, pandemic policies, and efforts to protect controversial government decisions. The case dates back to public records requests that began arriving at the agency in April 2020. Investigators reportedly say Morens and others anticipated those requests and deliberately shifted sensitive conversations away from government accounts.
I wonder how many of them have done that.
Prosecutors allege the move was designed to keep communications about COVID research outside the reach of transparency laws.
No.
The allegations also involve a controversial bat coronavirus research grant that became heavily scrutinized during the pandemic. That grant was connected to an organization that provided a sub-award to a laboratory based in China. Prosecutors say Morens agreed to help restore the research funding after the National Institutes of Health canceled the grant. They also allege he worked to challenge claims that COVID-19 could have emerged from a laboratory in Wuhan, China. Morens previously denied in congressional testimony that he intentionally attempted to circumvent federal transparency requirements.
Chairman of the full committee, Mr. Comer from Kentucky, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On May 16th, we heard from your boss, Dr. Lawrence Tabak, regarding some of your emails and avoiding the Freedom of Information Act. And I'm sure as you've already testified, you're aware that deleting federal records is a crime. And as you've said, you previously testified that you did not delete any federal records. But on February 24th, 2021, you wrote, quote, "I learned from our FOIA lady here how to make emails disappear after I'm FOIA'd, but before the search starts. So I think we are all safe. Plus, I deleted most of those earlier emails after sending them to Gmail," end quote. And the next day on February 25th, 2021, you wrote, quote, "But I learned the tricks last year from an old friend, Marge Moore, who heads our FOIA office and also hates FOIAs," end quote. Yes or no, is Marge Moore the FOIA lady you were referring to?
She was at the time. I believe she's retired since then.
Did the NIH FOIA office instruct you on how to delete emails or avoid FOIA?
No.
On October 25th, 2021, another scientist wrote, quote, "David is concerned about the privacy of text and other messages from his cell phone to you and me because he has been using a government phone. This came from Tony," end quote. Sir, did you ever have any conversations with Dr. Fauci regarding using personal phone or email to communicate with Dr. Daszak?
I don't remember it. It's possible. I probably wouldn't have remembered it, and I don't remember it. He and I usually never talked about that kind of stuff. It would be very unusual if it happened.
On January 18th, you testified that you did not have any conversations with Dr. Fauci regarding EcoHealth. On October 25th, 2021, you wrote, quote, "Peter, from Tony's numerous recent comments to me, they are trying to protect you," end quote. You meaning EcoHealth and Dr. Daszak. Dr. Morens, did you ever have any conversations with Dr. Fauci regarding EcoHealth?
Well, the ones you just mentioned, I don't have any recollection of that.
No recollection?
No recollection, no. Let me just say what I do remember is one time in a face-to-face meeting, he referred or alluded to some stuff that was in the press. I don't even think he said what it was, but it was about, I assumed it was about Peter's grants and press reports about it, and the ending of the grant. And I said to him, sort of out of the blue, guessing what he was really thinking, I said to him, Tony, I know you would have never been involved in getting rid of that grant. And he didn't respond. He just sort of looked at me and...
So Dr. Fauci was always a big defender of EcoHealth and their right to receive federal funding.
I can't speak for him. I think he had great respect for them, and when the grant problems came about, I think he was troubled by it. In fact, I just thought of something that I'd forgotten to say. At some point, somebody, it may not have been Tony, but it might have been Hugh Uppencloss, somebody said to me, you know, Peter's his own worst enemy because he made some mistakes on that grant.
I would say that's
Such as?
a factual statement. On April 21st, 2021, you wrote that Dr. Fauci is, quote, too smart to let colleagues send him stuff that could cause trouble, end quote. On June 16th, 2020,
That's an interesting statement.
you wrote, we're all smart enough to know to never have smoking guns, and if we wouldn't put them in emails, and if we found them, we'd delete them. Now, did you ever have conversations with Dr. Fauci
Why would you do that, sir?
regarding deleting emails?
I don't remember any such thing.
You don't remember?
No, sir. And it would be very. Tony and I don't have those kind of conversations.
Did you ever delete any official records?
But you just said that you did that. You typed that. How are you going to say with a serious, straight face that you don't have those conversations when he's literally reading one of those conversations? Like,
Not to my knowledge. I mean, but again, we're at the issue of defining what's a federal record. I deleted a lot of emails. I do it every day. But in my mind, they're trivial things not related to government business.
In response to my questions, Dr. Back said he absolutely agreed with every compliance action the NIH took against Dr. Daszak and EcoHealth. And over the past 2 weeks, both EcoHealth and Dr. Daszak have been suspended from receiving federal funding, finally, and proposed for debarment. Do you agree with NIH's actions against EcoHealth?
You know, I don't know the details about. I've never seen the grant. I don't know what's in it. I can't really speak to that.
Dude.
But I can say I've known Peter Daszak for almost 20 years, and in my personal opinion, he's an honorable, decent.
So have you had conversations with Dr. Daszak about this recent suspension?
Not a conversation. I knew about it. He sent me an email or something. Was a
So they occurred over email? You and Dr. Daszak communicated via email about his disbarment?
I should say Gmail, not NIH email. He doesn't send, you know, he was sending NIH
a little bit, and you have a little fun in the draft section.
stuff to my NIH email for a long time, and I kept telling him don't do that. And that's how this Gmail thing started. He sent me.
It was he did it. It wasn't me. I'm just here, and stuff happens to me.
2020.
I have no say in this. Things happen, and I just sit there and let them.
He sent a message to me on my government NIH email, and I forget what it was. Maybe I never knew what it was, but eventually that email was FOIA'd.
Okay.
So wait a second. Can I finish? Eventually, this email was FOIA'd, and Peter contacted me and said, you know, some friend you are, I send you an email with all my personal stuff, and it ends up in the newspaper.
Yes.
And that really struck me. That was a turning point for me because he was under death threats. And
Right. And I get it. Mr. Chairman, if I may, just one last yes or no question. Have you had any conversations with Dr. Daszak about this suspension, yes or no?
The suspension?
The suspension of the disbarment, the suspension.
Not conversation, but he has sent me an email with.
But that's email's a conversation via email then. You've had a conversation via email with Dr. Daszak.
Well, if you call it a conversation, yes. It's, you know, we didn't talk about it, but he just sent it to me, and I read it or not.
Morenz faces up to 5 years in federal prison, with his sentencing scheduled for November 12th in the continuing case. His guilty plea now represents a major development in a controversy that has fueled Republican investigations into COVID's origins. The case also comes as Anthony Fauci faces renewed scrutiny over his role in the government's pandemic response. Fauci led the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases for 38 years before retiring from government service.
That is a long-ass time.
Last month, Fauci appeared before a Senate panel and repeatedly invoked
Like the godfather of gay jabs.
his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination.
Like literally, like AIDS.
He also
Godfather of AIDS.
accused Republican Senator Rand Paul of pursuing what he described as an unhinged campaign to have him imprisoned.
We will now begin a round of questioning. Dr. Fauci, your testimony today is compelled by a lawful subpoena. As you know, it's a crime under 18 U.S.C. Section 1001 to knowingly make a material false statement to Congress, with a penalty up to 5 years of imprisonment. Understanding that you are under oath, the American people would like to understand your reasoning, your rationale for why you chose to fund the research in Wuhan. There have been, intelligence agencies, the CIA, the FBI, the DOE, have all come to the conclusion that more likely than not, the virus came from the lab in Wuhan. And so we'd like to know what was the rationale, what was the discussion, how, what went behind the decision to fund the research in Wuhan? How did you come to the conclusion that a totalitarian country would be capable of doing this in a BSL-2 lab, a lab that lacked the security? What was the reasoning, and are you sorry basically for making the decision? Would you, given another chance, say, well, gosh, circumstances now as I know it, maybe it wasn't a wise thing? Can you explain to the committee why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China?
I'll plead the fifth.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Oh boy, is he so screwed. I love it. I love it. All right, let me see if I got anything. Oh yeah. Here. Oh yeah, the tornadoes last night. Dover, Delaware. All right. See Mr. Solomon here. Oh yeah, this one sounded interesting.
Soon, very soon, we'll be releasing a fifth vulnerability. That fifth vulnerability will be focused on looking at ways that China has gained influence in a very important political institution and the FBI's knowledge of it, potentially the FBI's complicity in it. And it will raise a lot of questions about not only failing to punish some bad behavior, but also whether the FBI's way of penetrating and stopping China is in some ways flawed. And we'll be able to talk about that in the next couple of weeks as well.
Okay. Any hints? Which institution?
No, but I will say this. We once had a scandal in America. In the 90s, I covered it. In fact, I broke the original stories. It was myself and Bob Woodward in the Wall Street Journal about the China fundraising scandal of the 1990s involving Bill Clinton, the Lincoln bedroom, the Buddhist monks. It would be not unsurprising to people to think that China would go back and once again try to inject money into the political system through a particular institution. And so it flows that the Chinese go back and reuse the same tactics. They let a little time pass and they reactivate. And I think given that we know they were targeting voter files, maybe trying to get voter registration votes for Donald Trump, for Joe Biden, it wouldn't surprise me that they also were looking for ways to get money into the U.S. election to influence that election.
See if we can get a little refresher on China-gate.
The DNC sends a letter to your sentencing judge, Manuel Real, federal judge in Los Angeles, telling him that they were victimized by Johnny Chung and that you took advantage of them. And because of this, the judge should throw the book at you.
As you said, the DNC portray themselves as a victim.
Illegal fundraiser for the Clintons made secret tape and feared being assassinated. Daily Mail has obtained a video in which convicted illegal Clinton fundraiser Johnny Chung gave secret testimony while in fear for his life. He was convicted of funneling money to Bill Clinton's 1996 re-election bid in a breach of campaign finance law known as Chinagate. New book revealed how he spilled details of his activities in a video he made because he thought a squad of assassins would come after him. Sent by who, I wonder? China or the Clintons? Or both? He made the video with a friend after his FBI protection detail was suddenly removed. Oops. He had an FBI protection detail. Ooh, wow. Which Chung said on tape shocked even his judge. That's weird. Wonder who would do that. Hold on, we're going to come back to that one. Let's see if I can find a better summation of China-gated. That one looks interesting too. We'll check that one out too. History, probably good. Might be good to go over this again. Saying. Suggestion. Thought. Do this one. Remember Chinagate. Clinton treason. Oldie. 16. Oh gosh, it's him. Boy. Just a little bit.
When she's one of the main authors of NAFTA, of GATT, of globalism, of these one-sided deals, that's on record. And then we have her all these dozens and dozens and dozens of times, however many dozens 45 is, saying she's for the TPP. And of course, it's okay that Obama's for it, some foreign group, unelected, raping us economically further.
The United States is engaging in the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade negotiations. We're pursuing a regional agreement with the nations of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We are also pressing ahead with negotiations for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Trans-Pacific Partnership, a new free trade agreement. We are very committed to the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The Trans-Pacific Partnership. The Trans-Pacific Partnership. Trans-Pacific Partnership.
If there had been serious attention paid in Congress and by the public to the implications of the Chinagate bribery and treason scandal, there was a whole host of institutions vital to the power elite that would have been implicated.
The media cover-up of Chinagate was not simply to protect Bill Clinton. It was to protect the larger agenda that Bill Clinton had facilitated. That was the transfer of enormous technology, critical military technology, to communist China.
In 1998, America's attention was focused on scandal in the Oval Office. Public concern over this new round of suspected Clinton wrongdoings finally pushed Congress to act. However, news coverage implied that purely mean-spirited partisanship motivated the proceedings.
The great story here is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
Suddenly, for the first time since Richard Nixon, a United States president faced the strong possibility of impeachment. Yet only a handful of viewers would learn the actual reasons why. Months before the Lewinsky scandal broke, Congress began investigating a scandal that had become known as Chinagate. Evidence suggested that the Clinton administration had compromised U.S. security in order to finance its re-election campaign. The Communist government of China was eager to acquire sensitive U.S. military technology and economic concessions. Through international money laundering, China funneled contributions into U.S. election campaigns and obtained privileged access to top U.S. officials. The communist money trail led all the way up to the Oval Office. If these facts were widely publicized, Clinton would face impeachment on grounds of bribery and perhaps even treason.
It was wrong.
But the media misdirected public attention. Americans were told over and over again in 1,000 different ways that the only real complaints against Clinton were that he lied about sex. Yet more than a dozen of Clinton's appointees, business associates, and close friends were convicted of felonies since he assumed office in 1993. Many others implicated in the Chinagate scandal invoked the Fifth Amendment or fled the country altogether.
Indeed. Not the movie. Good movie. Unrelated. Okay, let's try this one.
In 1998, America's attention was focused on scandal in the Oval Office. Public concern.
This one. Media's rolling the Clinton Chinagate cover-up.
With literally millions of events occurring around the world every day, the media simply can't report on all of them. But like the Times slogan, all the news that's fit to print, the mainstream media implies that they can be depended on to report what is significant. What isn't made clear is exactly who or what dictates which events are newsworthy and which are not. This form of media censorship has proved catastrophic to American interests.
We have just had, I've been advised, some film in from the defense.
Anniversary of sorts, the meltdown of the 3 Mile.
Even after 3 decades, the performance of the American press hasn't changed much. In 1998, America's attention was focused on scandal in the Oval Office. Public concern over this new round of suspected Clinton wrongdoings finally pushed Congress to act. However, news coverage implied that purely mean-spirited partisanship motivated the proceedings.
The great story here is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has...
Yeah, I don't know if this is like part of the same one, but let's see that now that first one, Johnny Chang. Go.
Victim judge in Los Angeles. The DNC sends a letter to your sentencing judge, Manuel Real, federal judge in Los Angeles, telling him that they were victimized by Johnny Chung and that you took advantage of them. And because of this, the judge should throw the book at you.
As you said, the DNC portray themselves as a victim, victimized by Johnny Chung. And when the judge delayed the sentence totally 5 times, all the way to the last day of December 14, 1998, the first sentence he said, it's very strange. The giver come plead guilty in front of me, and givee get off free. And the second sentence, I'm going to quote unquote, he said, if the Mr. Richard Sullivan of the DNC, and then the DNC chairman Don Fargo, these two gentlemen doesn't know what's going on here. They're two dumbest politicians I ever seen. And the third sentence, he said, it's very strange why our Attorney General, Janet Reno, does not appoint independent counsel.
This is after he's read your secret grand jury testimony.
After he know all my sentencing information.
Was FBI agent present. Immediately you're put under, you and your family put under protection yet again. This was, as I recall, on a Friday. You're in protection Friday night. Someone in the FBI or the Justice Department decides to call off the team protecting you, to sign them off your case immediately and permanently, again to their surprise and to their disappointment. Okay. How did you feel when that happened, and what did you do about that?
Well, that was on Saturday morning. I found out all the FBI was called off, and I called you, Bob. I called my pastor in our church, and then we all met, and you guys decided to protect me and my family from that point. And the following Monday or Tuesday, I called the FBI office, and happened to be the U.S. Assistant Attorney again on the phone with me. And he said, Mr. Chung, your case is over. As a normal American citizen, what did you do if you feel your life in danger? You just call 911. I said, what? They just call 911. I said to my probation officer, he asked me to call 911. And she said, what? I said to Judge Manuel Real, my sentencing judge, and he also said, what? Call 911. I made a mistake. Indeed, I paid a huge price for that. But I want to thank the Lord Jesus Christ for his mercy and grace. And I want to thank my family, my church member who prayed for me all the time. But since the day when I became American citizen, I give my loyalty to the United States already. I want to send a message to the President of the United States. Mr. President, my loyalty to the United States, not for sale. Never.
And this package was, you didn't ask for it, unsolicited, but they tell your attorneys in this package how you can take the Fifth Amendment.
My attorney is a fine and good attorney at the West Coast. Besides every American attorney, they know how to take a fact. That's the message I want to say here.
So they didn't need instruction on what the Fifth Amendment was or how it could be invoked.
They sent a package to my attorney for what purpose?
And what did we just see Act Blue do?
What was your attorney's reaction to receiving this package?
Oh, he said in the nationwide television ludicrous.
Congress, David Chippers, they don't know about what's happening with General G, but the FBI certainly was aware. Now, the FBI, at one point, develops a plan to arrest General G at the Los Angeles International Airport, and they would need your cooperation. What do they ask you to do in that situation?
At one point, the FBI told me that, and the Department of Justice people, they said, General G had to come to visit the United States at least once a year. And then also he got a son here in the United States. And then they were thinking to take me to the airport, international airport in Los Angeles, and try to pretend to put some blood on my mouth. And then the only thing I need to do is point the finger to General G when he arrived. And then that's all they want me to do. I said, if you really want me to help, you can really hit me. You don't need to put a blood on my face. Okay, you can really hit me, and then we can go over there. I said, I can go over there and point my finger to him. This is a gentleman. I said, on my face. Okay, you can really. I said, if you really want me to help, you can really hit me. You don't need to put a blood on my face. Okay, you can really hit me.
What the heck?
And then we can go over there. I said,
I just wanted to know more about this. Is this guy still alive? Like, what the heck? Fascinating. Oh, man. Chung feared meeting the same fate as Ron Brown, Clinton Commerce Secretary who died in a plane crash. Friend who made the tape reveals. Yep. Plane crash. Chinese-American businessman at the center of a Clinton campaign finance scandal secretly filmed a tell-all video as an insurance policy because he feared being murdered. And footage provided what we just read. No. Johnny Chung spills details on how he illegally funneled money from Chinese officials to Bill Clinton's 96 re-election bid. Insane, dude. Insane. Chinese-American Clinton fundraiser recorded the elaborate videotape testimony while in hiding. Near 2000, he smuggled it to trusted friends and family with instructions to release it to the media in the event of his untimely death because he believed he was at risk of being assassinated. Chung is believed to still be alive and living in China. Weird. So I have to assume then it's not China that is coming after him. It's the Clintons that he's worried about being killed by. Obviously. See if we can find anything on it. Nothing. Look at that. Nothing. He was born in Taiwan. Owner of a blast faxing automated system that quickly sends out faxes to thousands of businesses. An early spam bot. That's so funny. How about that? Chung eventually found himself in the middle of the DC elite within a couple of weeks of his first donations to the Democrat Party. Wow. That quick, huh? Between 94 and 96, he donated $366,000 to the DNC. Eventually, all of the money was returned. Chung told federal investigators that $35,000 of the money that he donated came from China's military intelligence. Oh. Called a hustler by the U.S. National Security Council aide Robert Swettinger. Who's that? National Intelligence Officer for East Asia. at the National Intelligence Council from 97 to 98 during the Clinton administration. So, yeah, a Clinton stooge. Clinton intelligence. Oh, and Bush. HW. Cute. Very cute. Oh, and Brookings Institute. Wow. Yes. So let's see. Called a Hustler by Swettinger. Chung befriended former Lieutenant Colonel Liu Chaoying during a Commerce Department trade mission to China. In a July 20th, 97 Chicago Tribune article, Johnny Chung was quoted as saying, "I see the White House is like a subway. You have to put in coins to open the gates." Wow. Man. Chung later testified under oath to the U.S. House Committee in May 1999 that he was introduced to Chinese General G. That's General G. Okay. General G. Shengde, then head of Chinese military intelligence, by Liu Chaoying. Chung said that G told him, "We like your president very much. We would like to see him re-elect." We would like to see him re-erect. Please re-erect. I will give you 300,000 US dollars. You can give it to the president and the Democrat Party. Wow. Both Liu and the Chinese government denied the claims, of course, but come on, they did it. Chung was eventually convicted of bank fraud, tax evasion, and 2 misdemeanor counts of conspiring to violate election law. On December 14th, 1998, Johnny Chung was sentenced to probation and 3,000 hours. No details about anything beyond that. Any of the stuff just mentioned in the video we just watched. Where he went afterwards. It seems like an interesting bit of detail to leave out. CBS News covering it back in 1998. Democrat fundraiser Johnny Chung told federal investigators he sent campaign contributions from a Chinese military officer to the Democrats during the 96 presidential campaign. Huh? Okay, let's see. Okay. Pleaded guilty, federal court last March. Charges of funneling $20K contributions to Clinton's re-election campaign. Re-election. Chung, who's now cooperating with federal prosecutors, is to be sentenced in July. His lawyer, Brian Sun, could not be immediately reached for comment. When he opened his campaign fundraising hearings last year, Senator Fred Thompson, Tennessee, said he learned from intelligence officials that China had a plan to influence U.S. elections in 1996. I wonder what details on that, this public record, if any of that's been declassified at all. Let's find out. One moment. Okay. Not up here. Oh. All right, what do I want to add here? else was there? About the okay. Pacific. Red. Influence. Me. China. Yes. What? Right. Okay, we'll see what we get in a little bit. Put that over on the side. And we can watch. Oh, well, there we go. Fast. Did his sworn house testimony 9 about there's the mention of the threats. Also testified he was threatened and offered money from Beijing, okay, if he refused to cooperate with the FBI investigation, and claimed the FBI tried to enlist him in a sting against a top Chinese general at LAX. Life insurance fee. Oh, good. It meant that. Nice. Unlike Wikipedia. While in hiding, Chung filmed a tell-all with a churchmate, Bob Abernathy, to be released in the event of his death because he feared being assassinated. Author Doug Weed obtained excerpts for his book Game of Thorns and gave them to the Daily Mail. In it, Chung claimed Democrats on the House Committee on Government Reform tried to dissuade him from testifying by sending his attorney a letter suggesting he plead the fifth, which his lawyer read as a veiled threat. Also said the FBI in Los Angeles gave him 24-hour protection before his grand jury testimony, but headquarters in Washington called off the detailed days before, and he was told to just make the trip alone. Note the 2017 coverage skews to partisan tabloid outlets. Believed to still be alive and living in China. Interesting. Curious about that. Okay, the 1996 China plan. Here we go. That's what I especially wanted to know about, considering everything we're about to hear about. Okay, so what the record actually shows. Yes, this is real and documented. Thompson's reference wasn't rhetorical. The most authoritative public source is the Thompson Committee's own final report, 98, specifically the section, the China connection. That probably worth picking through. Here's what's established versus what remains unproven. Provenance. The plan wasn't inferred from the donations. Intelligence agencies flagged it first. The FBI opened a foreign counter-intel probe in '96 and briefed 6 members of Congress that China might try to make contributions to members through Asian donors. How about that? Briefed 7th in October '96 and told the White House in June of '96 by briefing 2 NSC representatives. Press reporting in early 97 described surreptitiously monitoring conversations between Chinese officials, suggesting Beijing was prepared to illegally funnel money to American politicians. The evidence base included classified communications intercepts. Thompson's July 8, 97 public statement disclosing the plan was edited by the CIA and FBI and authorized by them for public disclosure. Interesting. The plan grew out of the 95 diplomatic blowup when Taiwan's President Lee Teng-hui was granted a U.S. visa, right? After Lee's visit, high-level PRC officials devised plans to increase China's influence over the U.S. political process, to be implemented by PRC diplomatic posts in the U.S. Interesting, considering a lot of the recent news about their U.S.-based activities. Specific documented steps the committee identified. PRC official devised a seeding strategy, organizing Chinese communities. Here we go. Interesting. Organizing Chinese communities in the U.S. to promote sympathetic candidates in state and local elections, to develop viable pro-PRC candidates for future federal races. Oh, they absolutely now, like everywhere, especially in New York City, West Coast. I mean, any major city at this point. China established the Central Leading Group for U.S. Congressional Affairs to coordinate its lobbying. President Jiang Zemin approved its creation. PRC intelligence officials discussed increasing lobbying and plan to raise millions to support it. Meeting with Chinese businessmen outside the mainland to discuss raising and spending the money. Separately, PRC officials discussed financing American elections through covert means, like Neville Roy Singham. Now, when did he get started? When did he make his bags? Founded ThoughtWorks all the way back in the late 80s. Incorporated in 1993, provided custom software tools, and consulting services. Then became a strategic technical consultant for Huawei from 01 to 08. In 05, ThoughtWorks opened offices in China. 05. And then by 08, ThoughtWorks employed 1,000 people. With lots of assistance from China. It was growing at a rate of 20 to 30% per annum, with locations around the world. Kind of sounds like an Intel shop, maybe? Clients including, all the most important companies in the world. Microsoft, Oracle, major banks, Guardian newspaper. Singham owned 97% of the common stock of the company. Yeah. In 2010, Singham opened ThoughtWorks' 5th Agile Software Development Conference in Beijing, where he spoke about his influence on Huawei, and sold ThoughtWorks in 2017, interesting year, for $785 million, by which time it had 4,500 employees across 15 countries, including South Africa and Uganda, both of great interest to China. Chief scientist Martin Fowler wrote that Singham had not been involved in the running of the business for some years by that time. Okay. After selling the company, he moved to China, where he owns or co-owns a number of businesses. Yeah. And does other things in his spare time. like praising Hugo Chavez. Hmm. So what did he do before that? Seriously, he attended Howard? That's hilarious. He was a member of the League of Revolutionary Black Workers, a black nationalist Maoist group. Worked at a Chrysler plant in Detroit in the 70s as an activist in the group. How interesting that somebody who was a black nationalist Maoist would end up founding a freaking IT company that ends up somehow becoming a massive multinational corporation with lots of ties to China, go figure. Yeah. Wonder how many others like Stingham are out there. Bet she's not the only one. People ought to start looking for other people like Stingham. In fact, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that together. Next. The next. The committee received information that China may have allocated millions of dollars in 96 alone, and that a U.S. agency received fragmentary reporting on China's efforts to influence the presidential election, which was part of a criminal investigation the committee couldn't be told more about. Huh. The detailed evidence is classified, apparently. The committee explicitly noted that a longer, more detailed classified account of its findings was prepared and maintained in secure environment. The most documentary and testimonial evidence could not be shared. Protect sources and methods. Yeah. Found no indication the underlying 96 and 97 intercept material has been declassified. The plan's existence is well documented, but they haven't declassified shit. Investigate. Right. No. How's he fit pattern? The intent. Politics. Any other do we get with that? Up, money real and large. Proximity to media is documented, not just alleged. You know it. What about similar? Eve Wen. Public. Alleging he lobbied Trump in 20. Request of Sun Lee Jun. Personal. The son. Oh, interesting. How about that? Former aide to New York Governor Hochul. Yeah, charged with acting as an unregistered agent in China. Yao Ning, Mike's son, and John Chen sentenced on foreign agent-related charges. Son assisted a Southern California City Council campaign. Discussed with Chinese officials how Beijing could influence local politicians, especially on Taiwan. Lu Jianwang, prolific donor to New York politicians. One of 2 men arrested over an alleged clandestine. Oh yeah, the Chinese police station stuff. Yep. This is the closest modern echo of the 96 donations through community figures mechanism. Pretty wild how quick it does that, isn't it? Just like that. References and all, right? Of course, you get some centrist, like overly centrist, like, I'm trying to be fair bullshit, like overly so sometimes, but whatever. Gotta learn to pick through it. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Let's see what else we got here. Go to the main pile here. I know I saw Steph earlier. I don't know if she had time to tag anything. Oh, she did. Thank you. You are the best, Steph. Thank you, big time. Vice President Vance to speak in hometown of Middletown, expected to address investment in steel plant. Yeah, this is going to be fascinating. Michael Cohen interview with none other than President Trump himself is set for release in a couple days, August 23rd.
I want to go back to 2016 if we can, because
they've already recorded it, obviously.
You and I have obviously traveled a pretty rocky road together. Do you remember, sir, when I went on CNN with Brianna Keeler and she told me that you were underwater in the polls, and I responded with those famous 2 words, says who, which became some worldwide meme.
And good advocate, and then they weaponized you like nobody's ever been weaponized, like few have been.
Well, maybe just you and I, sir.
And you, yeah, me too, but I don't consider mine, mine was at a level that nobody's ever.
This is going to be so interesting, you guys. Oh my God.
Seen before. But they weaponized you. They weaponized a lot of people. And I respect the fact that you recanted everything you said. And that's a big thing that you did.
I want to go back to 2016 if we can, because you and I.
Recanted every last bit. That it was done under duress. They were pressuring him. Of course they were. Because that's what they do. What they always do. How they work. Especially in cases like this one. Like, and then some. I mean, they do it to normal people in normal cases that mattered absolutely zilch to public narratives. And if they'll do it there, you bet your ass they're going to do it in a case like this. Times 1,000. Yeah, this is going to be fast. 2 of them now at least publicly, reconciling. Although personally, I wonder exactly how long ago that, if they ever actually parted ways to begin with. I actually even kind of wonder about that. Plants need water, as the saying goes, from so long ago. I don't know. They seem awful friendly, don't they? I don't know that we'll ever get an answer on that, but fun to wonder, right? Trump is visiting Myrtle Beach ahead of South Carolina Senate runoff. Okay. Assume he's going to speak and something today. Just today he's visiting, or? Yep, Friday. For Senator Darlene Graham. Ex-Google engineer's conviction for stealing AI secrets partially overturned. What happened here? Stealing for who? Oh, Lin Wei Ding. I wonder who he stole on behalf of. A federal judge on Thursday tossed part of the conviction of former Google software engineer Lin Wei Ding, who was found guilty earlier this year of stealing AI trade secrets from the U.S. tech giant to benefit two Chinese companies. Which ones? Alibaba and okay. They don't appear to. So the judge ruled there was insufficient evidence that Ding intended or knew that his conduct would benefit the government of China. This is a judge in San Francisco, Judge Vince Cabria. I don't know. Cabria said evidence supported the guilty verdict on the theft of trade secrets. Oh, so he knew that he was stealing. He just didn't know that what he was stealing and giving to China would benefit China? Okay. I would assume that the government prosecution will appeal this or whatever. Stole information about the hardware infrastructure and software platform that lets Google supercomputing data centers train large AI models. That's really valuable stuff. Oh man, allegedly also stole chip blueprints that were meant to give Google, owned by Alphabet, an edge over cloud computing rivals Amazon and Microsoft, which on their own. And of course, now we're seeing China releasing their own. They're still nowhere near America's, but they're making them continue to get better. Good. Rogue AI agent incidents fuel push for tech transparency. Oh boy, here we go. What kind of propaganda? Oh, it's whatever. No more doom scrolling or Instagram stories. A Meta trial loss could end the social media we know. Oh yeah, they're getting sued over addiction, right? Yep. States want the court force Meta to remove certain addictive design features from its platforms, Instagram and Facebook. These include infinite scrolling, autoplaying videos, disappearing content such as Instagram stories, beauty filters, and algorithm-dominated feeds. That shit is icky. Okay. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Jill Biden entertains possibility that Joe Biden was drugged before the 2024 debate with Trump. That's what you're going with? He was drugged? What do you, by you, with amphetamines to get him to maybe perform? Sort of? You mean that? Because I know you guys did that shit. Don't try and say you didn't, Jill. We know you dosed him with the meth. We know you did it. Ritalin or something. Vyvanse, one of those freaking ADHD kid pills. Guarantee you, they were slinging them things to him anytime he needed to be publicly visible, performing in front of a camera or a microphone. Not that it really did a lot of good, but I saw more than enough to suggest that he was being dosed. Say. What did she try to claim? Can we watch it? I want to watch her say it.
He was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic.
I don't want to pick 30 freaking. Oh, ew. Oh well. Let's see. What does she say? The podcast host asked Dr. Jill if a stroke was ruled out by doctors the night of the debate. Well, they did. They said, I mean, I didn't say to them when I was writing my book, I was reflecting, but I didn't say, God, did Joe have a stroke? I just said, is he okay? Is he okay? Lima asked the former First Lady what her gut told her happened, and Biden said she didn't know. I mean, there's all kinds of theories. You know, he had been traveling. I know he was tired. He didn't feel well that day when I saw him, but there was nothing definitive that I could point to. And I had been on the road for 2 weeks up until that moment, so I wasn't with him. I didn't see him days before, weeks before. I saw him maybe 1 hour before. Lima asked, there's no way anyone could have, God forbid, laced his drink or something. Who knows? Who knows? Dr. Jill responded. That's funny. Didn't they do, like, did they do a drug test? I remember there was discussion about it. But I don't remember if they actually did it or not. Anyway. Yeah. Fishermen found alive floating on cooler. Wow. 150 miles off the coast of Mexico. 5 days after going missing. Can you imagine? Good Lord. 150 miles off the coast. And somehow getting found. In the middle of the frickin' ocean. Hanging onto a cooler. At least it was a pretty big cooler. Big enough to be a boat. A makeshift boat. But goodness gracious. Wow. That would suck. Found though. That would be something. What a feeling. Can you imagine, man? Wow. All right. Les Wexner steps down as chairman of the Wexner Medical Board. Will remain on the board, not as chairman. I wonder if something's coming. I think if so, he would just step down completely from the board. But maybe he's just stamping his feet using it. Invited reporters and military members under escort held at gunpoint at Vandenberg Space Force Base. Five news reporters and a couple of military members were mistaken for a security threat and briefly held at gunpoint at Vandenberg. Thanks. What the hell? The heck? Suspected destructive devices recovered in New Mexico forest. Reward offered. What manner of destructive devices? IEDs. Improvised explosive or incendiary devices. Found in a forest in northern New Mexico. I don't know if I said Mexico or New Mexico, but northern New Mexico. Was it near any kind of infrastructure, power, or otherwise? That's my first question. What was it near? Where did they find it, and what was it close to? Several devices found near a ranger station in the forest. Concerned citizen recovered and turned in an additional device to a ranger station at the opposite end of the forest. What the heck? Or were these intended to start fires? Like wildfires? Remotely triggered. I don't know if that's like a turn out there. Part of New Mexico, Carson National Forest, I would think. Yeah, let's have a look. Lightning, #1 cause of wildfires in Carson National Forest, so happen. Here's one a month ago in Carson. Burned over 3,000 acres with no containment. Beehive fire. I wonder, man. That's how that reads to me. Just waiting for the right day. Yeah, bingo, Ed. Waiting for a windy day. Yep. I'm telling you guys, man, like all the people that try to sell you on directed energy weapons being used to start this shit, sorry, but they're wrong. It makes absolutely no sense to do that. Why would you do it that way? Why would you employ a system that, of course, would have to cost like ridiculous amounts of money, especially if it's space-based, which is what they always suggest does it. Why would they do that when they can pay a homeless person to do it, just manually, directly, or just make a cheap IED like this and trigger it for a couple $100? Like, I'm sorry, it just makes absolute sense. 0 cents whatsoever. Yep, I bet you there are other cases happen. They provide plausible deniability. Like, you use a directed energy weapon. I'm so, like, if that gets detected in any way, noticed, discovered, tracked, you're fucked. Whoever did it is fucked. Like, they will know where that came from. Track satellites. You can get found out one way or another. Like, why would you do that when you have homeless people that can provide you a nice wall of plausible deniability, or, you know, simple improvised explosive device? Same thing, triggered remotely from a burner device or something. I'm sorry, it just makes absolute sense to use directed energy weapons to start wildfire when they're way more simple, way more effective and safe, let's say, for the perpetrators. Why? It just doesn't make any sense. That's my take on the whole do thing. I don't believe it. ICE begins repatriating Biden's Haitian migrants. Bye. Bon voyage. I don't know. Did they that what they're saying, Katie? Have a nice trip. Okay, what else we got? Have a look. We're at 10:45. Oh, well, I need to I'm in the unfortunate position of needing to ask for charity. Hard to say. Both me and PSB this time. Soapbox is down to like $100 again. The Rumble check won't roll in for another few days into 4th or 5th. So usually when it rolls in here, we're gonna be in trouble. Thankfully, most of the big bills have rolled in already this month, so it's not like, at least I'm pretty sure, like the big one, like the hosting and server stuff is done. The quarterly one rolled in last a couple weeks ago for at least one of the quarterlies for hosting. So we're like cashed out, and I myself am also cashed out. I don't get paid myself for the work that I've done. Well, probably around the same. That's sadly, like I'm in deep shit, guys. Like it's not looking. And I need help, like big time. Not just with like short term, like sending a little cash in, but like I need to figure something out. I was working like a shitload, as you all know. You didn't hardly see me for a while there, for a couple months, but that work has, I don't know why, but it's gone. It's just like completely dried up. All the event work that I did, I haven't gotten a call in weeks. I haven't worked a job in weeks. So like the check I'm getting about 2 weeks time is back pay for all the work that I did in July. It's paid on like a delayed schedule. So thankfully I have the back pay coming, and it's a decent chunk. It's like $1,500, so it's not huge. Not gonna last. Like I gotta figure something else out. I don't know what, but I'm just obviously I got a new kid on the way, so I don't quite know what I'm gonna do. Working on, yeah, I do have Cash App. Yeah, thank you for actually reminding me. Probably grab the link, drop those. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do, dude. I've at least been throwing myself in the meantime, like in all my spare time when I wasn't working, and still am. I've been coding a lot and trying to build some things that can maybe, if they succeed, hopefully a lot. It would be nice if they get off the ground and like succeed big time. Working on that, I actually applied to with one of the things I'm trying to launch. I applied to Y Combinator, which big. All of them, I guess, kind of like VC. They throw money at startups that apply to them and bring them out to West Coast. You know, if you get selected, you get thrown into like they put people into groups basically. Everyone just kind of learns from each other, and they give you like $500K to get your startup off the ground, a bunch of other support, connections, networking, and so on and so forth. A lot of big tech companies got their start doing this. So I've applied to that with one. God only knows if I'll actually succeed. I hope so. I'm not going to bank on it, but it would be something. I'm trying to work on other things. I don't know if anyone needs work like that done, but let me know if you need things coded, or if you know of positions openings in. I need personal referrals. Like I can't get a job without that at this point, because I've dedicated like the last 10 years of my life to doing this. I don't exactly have a normal work history at this point. Not easy getting a job at that, at least without having a personal referral or somebody. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm worried. Let me get the links before I forget that. Oh no, where is it? Oh, there it is. I will get my PayPal too. Don't forget, it's not just, it's me personally and PSP, like both. Some love here for a change, not just PSP. I've been doing all right for myself for a while now, but now that's, unless things turn around here within the next few weeks. You get the donor box. Grab the paper. Okay. Oh, thank you. I just saw, I missed that, but Rumble. Kelly Gazing. Thank you. Sending that in. What do they call those? Rumble rants. That's what it is. Down here. This guy. Yeah, did you guys know you could do that? Send money with that little button. Oh, cool. Pretty easy. Same thing as Super Chat, basically. I don't know how much Rumble takes from that. I doubt it's nearly as much as YouTube. YouTube takes 30-something%. And then, yeah, thank you for reminding me of that too. Cultivator63 asks, do you have PO for cash? Yeah, which should be scrolling on the very bottom of your screen, on like the very bottom bar. You should see it scroll by, but I'll just here. It's box 4054 Merrifield, VA. You'll have to double check that zip code. 100% sure on that. Obviously, PO Box would be the preferred way to send it in, because no one's taking a cut from that. So if you can send that way, do. Yeah. Marvin D says maybe do more on YouTube, compilation videos, and maybe more hosts on YouTube. Yeah. So the big issue with that is, like, I can't be here for 24 hours a day to make sure that everyone is keeping to YouTube's sometimes rather strict rules with what can be played. I don't know. But compilation videos, like, shorts and stuff too, maybe. I bet I could automate some of that. I gotta look into that. It's actually on my list of stuff to do. Because I bet you I could set up a like fully automated kind of pipeline to just trim interesting moments, upload them automatic. I think there's actually services that do that for you too. But just generally, I do want to start doing more on YouTube. Just myself, like, I don't know exactly what yet, but I'm meaning to get around to it for a while. Maybe even some non-news related content. We'll see. Anyway, let me see if we can find anything else. I'm really hoping that I can pivot all of the learning I've done over the last 6 months with all the AI stuff into something, hopefully something rather successful. I mean, not a lot of people know how to work with it properly. And when you do know, it can do a lot for you. Personally, for small business, for big business. So I think the media stuff is just like it's fucked at this, especially just film generally with all the stuff going on West Coast. American film industry is just fucked. It's done. I've pretty much just think at this point, which is sad because I loved it. I really loved it, and it sucks to find something that you love and just have it, kind of ripped away from you like that especially when you've succeeded at it for a while. Terrible. Sucks. So I've got to find something else to pivot into, and it looks like that's the future. So that's gonna be it. And can you make money from your station's AI songs? Is that possible? I thank you for mentioning that and reminding me that I've meant to like chat with like Sleepwalker and Alti about doing something. Not just them either. I know there's others that do them. But Sleepwalkers especially. The few that I've heard from him lately, like, amazing. Very, very good. Like, astonishingly good. And I've meant to chat with them about doing something with that, because they deserve to. He should be making money with that. He should be making good. He's making really good stuff. And Salty too. Salty is getting very, very good. So I don't know, like maybe I can't promise. I obviously got to talk to them first, but I had kind of considered the idea of maybe doing an AI related channel with them or something just separately. I've obviously delved into the coding, all that side of things very, very deeply, and they're doing the media creation side of things. Like, maybe we could do something there. They certainly deserve it. They deserve to be made living. They're very good. Sleepwalker, especially. no shade to Salty, who is also doing like really, really good. Like there was one of Sleepwalker songs that just freaking blew. Like how good it was. It was really good. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was excellent. It deserves to go. So I don't know if he's doing something with that self or not, but it should be. If he isn't, I'd be happy to be of assistance, because like it big time. So I don't know, maybe I'll do something like that. Kind of thought about doing an AI for Normbots panel, something like that. You're gonna have to figure out how to navigate the years to come here. All this stuff just makes its way through the business world and all the other aspects of society. It will. Inevitable at this point. But personally, I'd like to be one of the people out there like helping shape that course, you know. It's coming one way or another. So if it is, I'd like to be out there kind of helping guide the ship. That's why I've thrown myself into this the last 6 months or so, just absorbing all this stuff and trying to figure it out, because like it's here. I mean, it's not coming. It's here. It is here, and it's just going to continue to explode. I don't think people talk about a bubble. I don't think it's a bubble. I think the demand for computing power is just going to skyrocket over the next, 3-4 years, especially as small business and mid-sized business really start catching on and wanting to secure that capability for themselves and regular people too. I don't think you've seen yet when it comes to the insanity of the computing market. I think it's going to get nuts, like a lot more nuts than it already is. So if you've been thinking of buying a computer, reasonable power, I would do it now. As outrageous as prices are, I don't think it's going to get better for at least another 4 to 5 years. And maybe really probably not ever. And at that point, if you're waiting 4 to 5 years, like you're paying for inflation anyway. So like, which is pretty significant at this point. So like, what's the point? just buy it now and learn. That's how I'm looking at it. I was lucky enough to make my purchases when I made a big lens sale back when I was still able to do that. Got things while they were still cheap and or at least relatively cheap and affordable. To build my current computer now would be well over double the price. Probably damn near quadruple what I paid. It's outrageous. And it's going to get worse. So buckle up. Oh, sorry, we just ran a couple minutes over. Yep, Sandy's in. What's up? How you doing?
Hey.
Hey, Ben. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah. Cool.
I do agree with you. I'd like to introduce you to, you know what? Would you be willing to come on one of my shows?
I gotta like do that because we keep like planning it and then work got in the way. But I'm not working now, so like I'm wide the F open at this point. I have no excuse.
Well, I was especially with AI. Cosmic Grandpa, I don't know if you know who he is. Computer geek. He was building the computers back when they first started, and he is really into AI as well. And it would be very cool if you guys could meet. I could just sit there and watch you and listen to you guys talk.
I would be game for that. Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. I'll send you dates.
There's
That would be
probably
awesome.
another maybe one or two people that be good additions to that too. I gotta maybe send some messages.
That would be very cool.
Okay.
I'm totally down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going interesting places, like fascinating places. Scary too in some ways. I think at this point more fascinating than scary.
It really is fascinating.
Yeah. It blows my mind
truly,
every freaking day. Every day.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
we'll do it.
amazing.
So shoot me a message and
okay.
Figure it out.
I totally will. Awesome. All right. Well, are you done for the day? Are you off for the rest of the day?
Yep.
Enjoy your Friday.
I shall. Yep.
That is awesome.
Have a good
Yay.
show.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. How are we?
Well, that's it for me, you guys. I'm out. I am probably going to do more on YouTube. I don't know. I get the sense that this channel is just censored to hell and back. I mean, just look at the numbers we get. It's outrageous. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try to start a separate channel and focus a little more on the AI side of stuff for those interested. Probably post a standalone video about it on this channel to refer people. We'll get it going. So I will chat with you guys soon. Hey, Sunfish7021 says, "Sup, man? You're catching me right at the end, man. About to leave." I'm doing good though. Hope you're doing well. I will be back. Well, officially scheduled not until next Monday, but maybe you'll see me over the week. Bye bye.